I'm Lindsay Solomon. I'll be your guide as we explore exciting student teaching opportunities and experiences of the Urban Teacher Preparation Program at Illinois State University. Is teaching your passion? Is it your life's intended work? Well, if so, have you ever, just for a second, considered what it might be like to teach in a large city setting? Well, come with me as I introduce you to some current students, some ISU student teachers, and some new teachers who made the choice while at ISU to prepare for the exciting experiences and challenges of teaching in an urban school. Recently, I traveled to Chicago to meet with some students who are currently student teaching in the Little Village neighborhood. So how many of you, when you were starting at ISU, saw yourself as being teachers?
I did.
I did too.
I mean, like initially, before I even graduated from high school, I mean, like my sophomore, junior year, I knew that education was like the only way I could go. I mean, I started teaching in my Sunday school, and since then, it's just like educating others and myself. It's like the only option I had, and business and all that other stuff wasn't for me, you know?
I actually have a similar story, and I didn't know that because we were roommates, but I taught Sunday school, and then we're also part of the same scholarship foundation, and so we kind of knew we wanted to teach in the school of need since high school.
I used to play school ever since I was really little, so I'd make my baby sister be one of my students, and my mom's a teacher, her dad was a teacher, so it's just always something I wanted to do.
I guess I'm the one that's a little different. I'd wanted to be a teacher for a long time, and then when I got into college, I wanted to teach high school history, actually. And then I decided that I thought that I wanted to be a teacher for so long that I wasn't sure if it was just because I'd always wanted to do it or if I still wanted to do it as an adult. So I switched my major around. I was a business major or minor, and then went back to teaching because I realized that's just what I've always wanted to do, and there's a reason for it. I like learning a lot.
And so for all of you, now that you're teaching in urban ed, is that where you saw yourself going? I know you said the two of you are on a program together, but is that always what you wanted to do?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's like I made that decision that, I wanted to teach urban kids, and especially marginalized groups like, African Americans and Latino Americans.
I wanted to incorporate Spanish. I originally, in high school, I was very focused on Spanish. And then my mom gave me the idea, why don't you go into bilingual education, which I didn't know too much about. So I researched it and I applied to ISU. From there, the rest is history.
So in the classroom situations, how have the students been? Are they the same as what you thought they would be? What experiences have you had that are really memorable to you that you'll kind of take with you, or maybe even just kind of framing what you're doing here?
I thought I was going to be better. I thought I'd be better at my job. The kids are the same. They're, 12-year-olds are 12-year-olds, and they're going to be the same here in Africa or in the suburbs. Anywhere you go, 12-year-olds are going to be 12-years.
Yeah, they have different backgrounds and different things that trouble them and different things they've experienced, but they still ask
the same
goofy, weird little questions.
Exactly, and they're still going to react the same way to, unfairness or, your discipline, but I mean, I haven't had anything so drastic that has tried to, change my perceptions of whether I want to teach 7th grade or not, or if I want to teach 5th grade, or even if I want to stay down in kindergarten. But it's just you got to take it as you go. But you just got to get better yourself individually, not really blaming it on the kids because it's not their fault. They're 12.
So do you think that having this whole year-long process will make you better than it would have if you just went and student-taught?
Yeah,
100%.
100%, 1,000%.
I can imagine just going into a school and just that semester student teaching. Like the first, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks are getting to know your kids and your teacher, and him getting to know you and how you teach, and then all you've got left then is 8 more weeks. Like we've gotten 2 choices of teachers because you're in 2 different schools. You already get that getting to know you period out of the way, so that when student teaching comes, it's business. Like you're the teacher, there's no more getting to know you. It's like I feel like I'm gonna be so much more ready than I would be if I would have just student taught.
I also checked in with some former UTP students who are now fulfilling their dreams of teaching in Chicago. Patricia is a student teacher of English at Benito Juarez Academy in Little Village.
Now classes are being shaped for Urban Ed, and we get to go on bus trips and we get to do service projects, and it's all linked together, and so you really have a different experience. You're more connected with the classroom and you're more connected with the outside world. There are a lot of similarities to a suburban school or in a rural school. They go through the same problems, but it's different as well. You have to take into account the poverty. You have to take into account the diversity levels and how to deal with, to bring in a multicultural aspect into the classroom. Their home lives are different. They may not have the same family style as I was used to. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like an awakening, and it was almost like a shock. And so to kind of get future teachers ready for that, so they're not, when they get in, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. It's, oh, okay, we've already talked about this. Now I see it. Now it's more familiar to me. I'm not scared. I'm okay. I wasn't scared of the students, and I wasn't scared of this whole idea of gangs and drugs, because that really doesn't exist it exists outside of the classroom, but when you're here, you're here to learn. And I was okay with that part. It was, I didn't want them to look at me and say, oh, here's a suburban teacher trying to come in and save all these kids, because they've got their own lives and they're okay with it. They're okay with how they live. It's normal for them. A lot of the students asked me if I was Mexican or if I was Arabian, and they related to me right away. Even though I told them I wasn't, I told them I'm half Greek and half Assyrian. Oh, what's that? And it's different. And as soon as they realize that I'm different, just like they're different, we connected. Being a teacher, I like the idea of being connected with the community that I'm working in. And so I don't want that distance. I don't want to go home and not be able to see my students, and I don't want to go home and not be able to know the restaurants that they're talking about and the activities that are going on in the community. And I am part of that.
Leslie is now a third grade teacher at McCormick Elementary School. She graduated from ISU in 2007.
I thought that the students would be like, just kind of what you see on TV. You know, like everybody needed to be helped, everybody needed to be saved, and that's actually not what it's like at all. Like, of course, there are a few students who definitely appreciate your help and stuff, but you don't really ever hear about, or some of the stereotypes are that the parents are just not involved or uninterested or whatever, and that's totally not true. Like, we have more parents here willing to do things than I'm sure at other schools.
So do you feel like the PDS program really prepared you well for what you're doing?
I don't think that you can ever be like really well prepared, but I think it definitely did better than student teaching would have. Like I student taught at this school in the classroom next door for a whole year. So the next year when I started with my own classroom in the same grade, I kind of knew, things that I wouldn't have known had I have done just student teaching, because I was here like from the first day of school till the last day of school. Mm-hmm. And that was definitely helpful. I really like this neighborhood a lot. I feel like it's very welcoming. It's very different than anything I'd ever been in before. So I teach ESL on Saturday mornings, and we just often like hang out around here. And the parents always are, wanting to like show us things, cook, like take us to their houses, whatever. And that's really cool. Mm-hmm. So I like it a lot. If you are interested and this is something you want to do, you should definitely do it. Mm-hmm. It's really, really rewarding. And like for me, I didn't know this is what I wanted to do until I got here. And now like I've never doubted it. The PDS thing was the best thing I ever did.
Sarah is now the Math and Science Coordinator at Madero Middle School. Not so long ago, she was a student at ISU in the UTP program.
In a way, my student teaching wasn't traditional because there were actually 8 of us from ISU student teaching in the same building at the same time. And that made for a really awesome experience because we all had each other to kind of lean on. We all had each other in different grade levels to share our experiences, and we all became really close. A lot of people ask me why I went into urban education, especially the fact that I came from the suburbs. And my answer to that was always that I wanted to put myself somewhere that wasn't going to be comfortable for me. I felt like I could go back home, I could do my student teaching in the suburbs, I would be perfectly comfortable and perfectly happy, but I wasn't really going to be learning or pushing myself. So I decided I was going to put myself in an unfamiliar situation, and I was going to do an urban setting and do my teaching there. Now that's what the perspective I kind of had going into it. I really don't feel that it's all that different. Kids are kids. Do I feel safe? Am I safe here? Chicago's so big, bad, scary Chicago schools. And That's not the reality. The reality is that the school culture, the school environment, that shapes whether or not it's a safe school to be in. And I feel perfectly safe in my school, in my community, after dark, because I'm familiar with it, and that's the community that my school's developed.
We are back on the Illinois State campus. We spoke to several students who are just starting their journey of preparation to become urban teachers. They've joined the student group Unite, which stands for Urban Needs in Teacher Education. In their own words, here are some of their hopes and their fears.
I'm student teaching at a very fortunate high school at Normal Community here in town, and I have a smart board in my classroom and internet access and a computer lab right down the hall. So I have a lot of great resources for me. And part of the excitement, I would think, of teaching in an urban school a little less privileged is coming up with lesson plans and ways to teach students without all those. Because I guarantee you I'm not going to have a smart board next year or internet access in every room or a lab with 43 Macs right down the hall.
So what kind of experiences are you looking forward to? What excites you the most about joining an urban teacher school?
I'm nervous. I'm beyond nervous because I don't know if I'll be able to help these kids, but then I just remembered through just all the experiences I've gotten, I just want to be able to work with teachers and see their outlooks on things, and just being able to get into the kids. Those are the most important. They're the future.
I went on the Chicago bus trip after I first joined Unite, and we got to tour 2 different schools in Chicago, and I really liked the background and seeing the diversity with everybody, and I thought it'd be really cool to teach kids that people don't necessarily think have a chance in the future.
Unite has really prepared me, I'd say, for just realizing that there's a variety of students in this world and that they're not all going to be taught in the exact same way. And so now I'm extremely interested in teaching in an urban setting because before, being from the suburbs, I was really kind of scared of it. I didn't really know what to expect, but I think being in this RSO organization has really prepared me for teaching in an urban setting.
We had the chance to hear directly from Arnie Duncan, then Chief Executive of Chicago Public Schools, now Secretary of Education and member of President Obama's cabinet. We're just wondering, what kind of words of wisdom would you give the students who are just starting out or maybe considering teaching in an urban setting?
I tell them just to jump in and don't spend any more time thinking about it. In all seriousness, I just think this is a phenomenal opportunity. The more ISU students understand our schools, understand our neighborhoods, most importantly get to know our students, the more I think they're going to be compelled to do this work. And we have great students that are working very, very hard. They need great teachers. They need adults who believe in them, who understand their potential and are willing to work hard to help them fulfill that potential. So the more ISU students get to know our schools, our students, our communities, there's no downside. I think they'll be compelled to do this work, and it may actually change their lives. I think providing quality education and quality urban education is the civil rights issue of our generation. That we have, to me it's a fight for social justice. If we're trying to end poverty, we have to give our students a great education in high school that prepares them to be successful in college. And so this is not a 5-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour day job. This has really got to be your life's work. And that's what it takes, but this is so important and so rewarding and so gratifying. More and more people are coming into the profession. More and more people are coming into our Chicago public schools. I think ISU does such a great job of preparing students. We just want more and more of your graduates to come our way as we strive to become the best big city school system in the country.
I hope that we have provided you with a snapshot of all that urban teacher preparation has to offer. Teaching in an urban setting is an exciting calling that requires a special kind of preparation. The students that you're working with may speak different languages or have different cultural experiences and may require a little extra help. The challenges of teaching in an urban setting may be great, but the rewards simply can't be matched. So are you open to exploring whether urban teaching is right for you? If you would like to be part of this exciting opportunity, here is how you can find more information. This one step could change your life and the lives of your urban students forever.